Jet, what are all these cats doing here? What's that smoke? What's going on?
Dude, podcat. Like, cat on pot.
Welcome back to yet another episode in the Auction House podcast, guys. This is episode 6. It's a very exciting time. We have some exciting things going on this episode. Don't be Jack.
Indeed. So we're gonna talk about a couple of things. We have Hikons on the show.
We got some cross-server economy talk. We got some flipping talk. It's all very exciting. It's big stuff because Hikons is one of those people that you look at the amount that he's making and you're like, okay, well, that seems like that seems like it doesn't really work. How can I make that much gold? I want to be able to do that. How do I do that? And that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to pick the brain of Hikons. Right, Jack?
Yep. And also we're gonna talk about Blizzcon. What's going to happen? What we can expect for next week.
All very exciting stuff for sure. I'm excited for Blizzcon.
I'm too excited for Blizzcon, indeed.
But welcome, Hikons. Welcome. Yay, welcome.
Say something.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Say
something.
You should have just say something. That's what you should have said. Just
yeah, you did it all wrong again, man.
I mean, Jack, you didn't make it easy for him, okay?
So tell us, Hikons, is it the name Hikons or Hikons? What is it?
I think either's fine.
That's not the answer you wanted, huh, Jack?
Nope.
No, I mean, I guess it just depends on who says it. I mean, I like saying Hikons. That's what I like. I don't know.
Yeah,
sounds good to me.
Hikons.
Yeah.
Or I call them Hank.
Yeah, that's a new name.
Hey, let's start with the token price, because there has a little bit movement with the new game.
It got put out on the Blizzard launcher as a pre-order. No official release date, so the price did not move that much on the WoW token. But for the WoW token, we have a look at it, and we see here in the last week that it's been actually going up. It's been going up quite a lot, especially on EU, and the NA token has also been quite high. But when we start out with the EU token, we'd see that it's actually been hanging around the 175, 176k most of the day, pretty much. And I think it was yesterday, it went all the way up to like almost 182k, which is really high.
Yeah, and in the US, it started from last Monday. The price went up slightly. We started last week with below the 120k, and it ended almost today at 125k.
Obviously, we had the mount and the celebration package that was kind of the things that first off took the price up to a higher point, and then we had Crash Bandicoot, and then obviously now that BlizzCon is on the horizon, it's right around the corner, we are going to potentially see even more of a spike.
Yeah. So if the token price is going too high for you, blame Crash Bandicoot for it and not Blizzard. Or wait, do Blizzard, yeah.
I mean, if that works for you, yeah.
Works for me. Hikons, do you have anything to tell about the token price? You do anything special? Like you maybe have a tip for the token price buyers?
I usually just time my buys on the weekends. They just seem to tend to go down on like Saturdays for NA. And then like right before raids on like reset days, like Tuesday and Wednesday. Seem pretty good.
What about the time you buy them? Like the time of the day?
Oh, just like afternoon, early evening for NA.
Okay, yeah.
It's very different in EU actually, because that's the usual best time to buy the tokens is in the middle of the night or like very early morning. It's usually the cheapest point.
This week we have the Love is in the Air event, and there's a lot of people like farming those lucky charms to get the bracelets and to buy like the toys from the vendor or the mount. And I want to talk about the mount. It's like the pink chicken, I like to call it. And if I'm checking at the moment the EU region value, it's basically staying the same. actually is going up in price. It's ridiculous, actually, but however, the quantity is also going up. It's actually moving behind the pricing value, so I think it will catch up later in the week and the price will drop. Now, there's one little change. Last time there was Love in the Air 2020, we had more multi-boxes than normally. And what that means is that the price will drop lesser fast and the quantity will rise lesser fast as well. And it has to do basically with there's lesser farming of the Lucky Charms, means lesser bracelets, lesser products on the market. I think it's a question of waiting, check it out, what the price is doing, and we will see later on what will happen with the price of the pink chicken or the Swift Lovebird.
It's very hard to say because when we look at the regional daily summary, and if you click on all, you can see that usually the amount of Swift Lovebirds that you see on the auction house posted is a way higher than what we're experiencing currently. I mean, this is really, really low for the fact that the event is currently going on. And I mean, if it continues to go like this, its regional price is going to probably get to its highest point ever, I would imagine.
I think so as well. Yeah.
So I mean, if you or as an individual want this mount, I would say this is probably the absolute best time to get it, and it's probably only going to get more and more expensive unless you want to wait a full year. That's an
well, maybe there's a possibility the price will drop next week. We don't know. The event is for how long? Is it still on the event? I think
it's a total of 2 weeks, and we've had 3 days so far, so we still have 11 days left. So there's still a very long time that people can farm a lot of these mounts. So if you're one to say make a long-term investment, this is definitely something that you could look out for. You could check your own server if it's dropping in value over the next 11 days, and then you can make a decision if you want to buy a couple and then hold on to them until a couple months forward, and then hopefully the price will increase, because we've seen that pretty much every single other year. But this is a very different time. It's a very different expansion, so it's hard to say.
There's a lot less people multi-boxing, so there's going to be a lot less mounts, I think, throughout the event.
Have you been checking the price of the bird?
No, I actually checked out a couple of the farms just to see if they still worked. I think it's just a lot less people farming it with their multi-box teams.
Yeah, it seems from what I've been told, it takes around 2.5 hours to farm one Swift Lovebird. So with less and less people out there being able to farm it, especially with almost no multi-boxers, it makes sense that there's a lot less of these Lovebirds. So you could also say that it might even be a potential to get these at the prices that they're currently at. If they stick around at these prices, that this might be the new cheap. We don't know for sure. So
I think it's taken roughly like 2 hours to farm in past years with one account.
Yeah.
But when you do it on multiple accounts, it's a lot easier to get mounts a couple each hour.
Yeah. You get multiple since there's more accounts. It makes sense. So
I'm just waiting for that price to drop to below 30k, because I have to see them go below 30k in the past couple of years. So
I mean, it still might happen, absolutely. But we'll see. And another part of the little Love is in the Air event here is, if you're one that's trying to get your big love rocket, or you're just doing a little bit of the content every day and you're not grinding for anything specifically, but if you want to make a little bit of an extra gold from one of the things that you farmed, the lovely charm bracelets, you cannot post them on the auction house, but you can trade them to other people. And a lot of people are looking to buy them in trade chat. So if if you want to make a little bit extra gold, you can potentially sell the lovely charm bracelets in the trade chat, if that's something you want to do. It's a little extra option. If you want to get rid of them and don't hold on to them, that's totally up to you.
Yeah, problem is only that they don't stack, so you have to sell one at a time, or try to have your own guild bank and put them in there and see if you can make a deal.
The next thing that we have to talk about is here a couple of days ago is we got information that there's going to be 4 new mailboxes in
Yes.
Oribus, and it only took almost 4 months. No,
Yeah.
it's not 4 months, but like almost whatever, however long since the expansion came out. Finally, Blizzard decides that there's going to be 4 mailboxes in Oribus. So we don't get 4 new. There's going to be 2 new ones, because currently there exists 2 in the actual city. But a lot of people don't know about the second mailbox because it's on an outer ring of Oribus, and you can't see it if you're inside. It's kind of weird. But we're going to have 2 new additional mailboxes. One is going to be just outside where the banking area is, where the Great Vault is. And then we're going to have one all the way over on the other side where the portals to Arkham Stormwind is.
Yeah, I even heard there's going to be a 5th one at your jailer, but good luck getting there.
Yeah. It's a little, little weird. But it is pretty nice.
He needs to get his meal as well, right?
I mean, I guess that's true, yeah.
I mean, it's not only any mail, it's any meal.
I'm leaving. I'm out.
Definitely looking forward to the extra mailboxes. I feel like even 4 is not going to be enough with how big Oribus is.
Yeah.
I can hear it in your voice, like you cannot wait to get the new mailboxes.
With those mailboxes, they decided, like, they already have 2, and then they placed another one just, like, almost right next to it. There's 3 other areas to they could put it. There's so many places, but yeah, it is what it is. It's a start, for sure.
Yeah.
One by the crafting area would be nice.
Yeah, it'd be very nice.
Yeah, but I think they're not going to do that on purpose because they will know how it's going to go. People are going to stay on Oribus and keep like moving from the left to the right, keep posting, reposting, crafting. I don't think they want to do that to create that situation to give the crafters and the gold makers that ease of generating gold.
We can do that already though, if you have the long way.
So many people said we need more mailboxes. It makes sense. Right. And it makes sense that they put it right outside the Great Vault and where you have your bank. I mean, that makes complete sense.
I mean, just get on with the mount that has the mailbox on it. Just do it because that will be more easy. I do think there will be something in the future like that, with like a mount with a mailbox and a guild bank.
Yeah, I mean, potentially we might see that at some point.
Yeah, at least.
Hopefully, I'd like it.
The main part. Because we don't have a lot to tell at the moment, is we have Hikons on the show, and the main subject, like Sensible already told us, it's gonna be about flipping on multiple servers, and of course at the end we're gonna talk about the Blizzcon. Hikons, tell us, when did you start making your gold?
So I started gold making towards the end of WoD, just when they added the tokens. I thought it'd be pretty cool to just pay for my game time using those tokens. So that's when I really got into gold making. And then, I first started out with like professions and like farming. I did old pets and some of the like raid and dungeon instances and sold those on the auction house. And then like towards the end of WoD, I was raiding as well. So I was getting like a lot of BOEs, noticing that people were mispricing them or pricing them too low. So I started flipping those towards the end of WoD and made pretty good gold with that. And then Legion dropped, got into the 101s, started flipping those like pretty early. Made a lot of gold. Eventually ended up expanding to more realms.
Yeah, to explain to people what 101s means, are like in Legion with the scaling factor, you could like do dungeons very easy when you were level 101, and it has to do with the epic gear that dropped. There was like epic gear for 100 level 1s, and you could build like a full powerful character that could solo run a dungeon. That's a mindset behind the 101.
I always saw with the 101s, I never really got into them myself because Legion for me was very raid heavy, so I focused on crafting for the majority of it. But it was definitely something that a lot of people were using a lot of time on, and obviously it's not really a thing in Shadowlands anymore, is it?
No.
Yeah.
The thing was with Legion 101s is that a lot of people that got them from just doing normal stuff, they got them and they had no clue how to value them, and they put them like for 10k on, and we could buy them and resell it for like 80k, and that was the market. Yeah. Hikons, go on with your story. By the way, Hikons, where did you find out to start with flipping on multiple servers?
It just ended up being that way because I was raiding with a couple of friends on a different realm, so I ended up leveling another tune towards the end of like Legion, middle of Legion. So I was like on 2 realms, I think beginning of Legion. I can't remember if I was on any more, but I think I was set up on like 2 realms to start out with, and just saw the potential in being on multiple realms. So I ended up expanding it more, just bringing pets and stuff over to get starting capital, get started flipping, because you can list them fairly cheap, so you don't really need to have any gold to get started on a new realm. And it's pretty easy to get set up, actually. And yeah, even with like 10 or 20k, you can get some pretty good deals flipping. Like Jack said, people will misprice BOEs and list them for like 10k when they're worth like 100 or even like 200k. Especially the pieces with the leech were insane in Legion.
When it comes to Legion specifically, obviously, I feel like Legion was the rise of BOE flipping. Because I remember it was big in Warlords of Draenor, but Legion was where a lot of people started talking about it. So it's still like what do you say? Not kind of like more. It wasn't that much of a risk in Legion as it is, for example, now, because a lot more people are trying to do it now. What do you think? Do you think it was easier to flip in Legion than it was now?
I think so, because I feel like a lot more people had capital to play around with, just because the like the inflation, like we had the WoD Garrison and then the Legion mission tables, so we had a lot of people with a lot more gold. These days, like gold is fairly scarce. We've had a lot of deflation in the past 2 expansions, and yeah, if you don't have a lot of gold, it's pretty hard to get into flipping these days. And even now, like the prices are relatively high, just because there's such a scarcity on gear. Most people are just going to the auction house for BOEs. So that keeps like the demand really high, as well as the prices.
I think also the market was different in Legion, because now it's BOE, just like the end game armor you want to flip. But in Legion, it was not only end game armor, it was also the 101 level you wanted to flip.
A lot more options.
Yeah. There was a bigger market, and that's different. I think that's one of the best markets, as in flipping, I've been in ever.
Yeah, it was a very different experience for me in Legion, because I never really got into flipping BOEs in Legion, because I was always super scared of it early on, because I was just a heavy crafter at that point. That's pretty much all I did. I didn't do much flipping in Legion, so.
Yeah, I did a lot of crafting as well, like Obliterum shuffling. That was really big.
Yeah. Obliterum was really fun. I enjoyed Obliterum a lot.
So how's now the BOE flipping for you, Hikons? I'm totally not in the market.
Not too bad. It's actually fairly easy to pull off. People are still mispricing their BOEs, listing like heroic and mythic versions below like LFR prices. So you can scoop those up and make some pretty decent flips. But I think the margins are a lot slimmer than they were like in Legion or even like in BFA.
Do you check what kind of BOEs you're gonna flip?
No, just if the numbers make sense, I'll just buy it out and try and flip it.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, I will say after waiting a little bit with BOEs, because early on everybody was on BOEs, everybody was farming BOEs, and as the mythic farms got out and people were open world farming, everybody posted BOEs, and it was very, very tough to, at least on the servers that I've been playing on, to get, or at least look for the good deals. Very risky stuff because of how many BOEs that people were farming, but also buying. But now it's calmed down a little bit, so there's a little less risk. At least for what I see, it's a little easier now to get better deals, because there's a lot of people that are really hungry to get gold fast because the PoE sell just a little bit slower now, which is interesting, but it makes sense, obviously. But actually, something I want to ask about Hikons. What do you think in it doesn't have to be right now, but what has been your favorite thing to flip if you have like an item or a market specifically? What do you think? It doesn't just have to be Shadowlands. It could be like an all-time thing as well.
I think the jellies were pretty good. The ones from BFA. Thin jelly, rich jelly, royal jelly. Those items.
What about the peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter jelly? No. No. That's an interesting item, actually.
Is it still? Do you think it's still a good market to be in, Hikons?
Yeah, I think if you invested in BFA, it's definitely a good market because the prices have gone up quite a bit. There's a lot less people farming them, so a lot less supply as well. And people are still in need of that amount if they didn't get it in BFA. So they're going to either farm it themselves, which takes a really long time, or just buy the jelly off the auction house.
Okay. It's not a bad idea, actually. There now when we talk about BFA specifically, there's actually so many mount-related things and just mounts in general on the auction house. And there's a lot of gold to be made from them. That's also something I've talked about.
Yeah, even some of the pets too, like the really low drop rate, like pets from different zones,
and also the what are they called? The pet, not charms. It's something else. They were called something specific in BFA. I don't remember what they were called, but the ones that you could go to a vendor and buy the pets for like 200 or 250, like the little war machine, and what was the other one called? A blight? No, that was a toy. Blight bomber. There was a couple things that you could buy for BFA's version of pet charms. I don't remember what they were called, but they're also good things actually.
Wait, you mean the shiny pet charm?
No, they were called something else in BFA. You could get them from missions as well.
And the only one I know is the shiny pet charm. It's like the blue icon thingy, and you have the new one is the polished charm. That's the two I know.
Are you talking about like service medals that you use for mounts and pets?
No. They were called. It might actually be the polished pet charms.
Yeah.
No, it totally is. It totally is. It's the same ones that we're using now. I didn't realize that we use them again. But they're also used for a lot of pets and toys in BFA that a lot of people actually still buy.
So, Hikons, tell us, how does a gold maker like you, how does your day look? You start up World of Warcraft, what's the first thing you're going to do as in gold making?
You got to check your auctions, check the mailbox, relist your auctions.
But which do you have like an order in what room you're going to start? Because how many you're on at the moment? How many servers?
I'm on a little bit over 40, I think. They did combine a couple of realms, but I ended up setting up on a couple as well. So I think I'm pretty close to 40 still.
So is there a particular order you're going to start with?
Like recently, I've just been focused on like 4 or 5 realms. I don't do all 40.
Explain us how you manage that.
You usually just pick a day, hop from character to character, relist my auctions. And in Shadowlands, I've been kind of lazy about it, so I list maybe once every like 2 to 3 weeks, just so the auctions don't expire.
How many auctions do you think you have overall on all 40 servers? Do you know?
I don't know offhand.
How many do you have on the current ones that you actively play on? Do you think you know that?
The ones I'm actively on, probably a couple thousand at most.
Okay. Because I feel like with 40 servers, oh my god,
that's a lot.
And that's a lot.
I'm on 22 and I'm already like thinking like lowering that number to 16 because it feels like a day job.
Yeah.
I like it, but it feels like a day job for me.
But you have, even if you have 500 auctions per realm, it's so much. You're sitting there, there's 20,000 auctions that you have to post.
You could just cut down on the days that you relist.
Yeah, that's true.
That way you're doing less each day.
Yeah. But it's still a lot. If you want to keep it active.
How do you pick a new realm? Do you do any research? If so, what kind of research? Or
No research, just random choices.
Yeah, it also seems like when you're on 40 servers, it doesn't really matter. You just pick one.
yeah, that is true. That is
Fuck
true.
it.
Yeah. Now Hikons is like he has a dartboard with all the names of the servers and like blindly throw a dart at it and like see which room he hits this day
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like okay,
Yeah, just look at the name. If I like the name, I go to that realm.
if you like the name.
I get, yeah, guys. If you want a new server, just pick the one that you. I mean, honestly, it's not a bad idea. You know, there's obviously you can do a lot of previous research and you can look at markets and you can try to figure out what would be a good choice. But at the end of the day, you also have to enjoy the process, right? You have to
Yeah.
pick something that you like. So if you like the server name, I mean, that's a good start.
I can understand the situation in Hikons because he has like so many realms
It
already.
doesn't
and
matter
it's like,
at this point. Just pick one.
it's like a giant like truck coming every day to him. Like here's your gold. So this is what I do. I do check a couple of items. I check like old content items and new content items, and I'm checking like what it's doing as a realm value, the quantity. Is it moving a lot in value and quantity? And how is it compared to the region value? And I check like a lot of ghost iron ore bars, living steel, File of the Sands, the Panthers. What else? What's a lot of movement item? Asian mana gems or crystals. Also, I check those out, and also current items like mostly herbing and food. Food can tell a lot what's happening on a server, like how active is it as in raiding or PvP or whatever. Problem is you need to check it at the moment that the raid is like really on. There's a lot of people on it. Now it's getting less, so it's gonna be harder to check it out. But when 9.1 comes out, check where the realms, the lot of movement in the food is. That can tell a lot about the realm if there's a lot of activity in raiding and so on. I think that's my work process.
I think when it comes to picking a new server, it's also it's heavily based on what the goal is on that new server, right? If you know, there could be a lot of different reasons for picking a new server. It's you want to build up a second place where you flip and you farm and whatever, or it's only a flipping server specifically, or it's because you moved a bunch of stuff over to another server to sell it there. I mean,
I do think when you want to try to farm on different servers, it's gonna be a task.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, farming is very, very time intensive, so that's a little bit of a bigger deal. But I also feel like I feel like doing multiple realms is, I mean, that's a long term goal. I feel like you have to get to a pretty stable point in your goal making before you decide, oh, I want to do more servers. I mean, obviously, you can do whatever you want, but shifting your focus early on in your goal making process might not be the right choice. But I mean, it depends on what you enjoy.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to focus on like one realm first, saturate your market, get a nice bankroll going on your main realm.
Yeah.
Before you start expanding. That way you have like if your goal is to pay for your game time, you can just do that on one account or one realm.
Can you give the audience a tip how to start on a new realm? How to generate that first couple of gold?
So you can just roll an allied race and they start out with like 1 gold. You can use that to list pets. And yeah, if you want to get set up on a new realm, I would probably just select a handful of them, create a few pets, throw them up on the auction house and see if any sell. And yeah, eventually you'll work up enough gold to start flipping, start making some gold.
Yeah, to explain to people that don't know how this works, battle bets, you can sell them on other realms because they're account bounded. You don't have to sell them on the same realm you're buying them on. So you can buy them cheap on like a full high pop or whatever, but mostly a full high pop is mostly cheaper, and sell them on a low or medium pop server. You can also, I'm not sure if you knew that, Hikons, but you can now also make a trial character, a second one, like a second character, make a trial version, and he has a little bit more gold on him, like the gear you can sell and so on.
Do you get to keep the trial?
No, because that's not the idea behind it. The idea behind make the trial is because it has a little bit more gold than the allied version. You can generate a little bit more gold. I think it's like 15 or 16 gold you can get from a trial version, but you have to sell the gear and the bags and everything it has. You send over the gold to the character you want to flip with, and then you delete the trial character.
And yeah, listing the pets is really cheap. I think it's like 1 silver, even for 48 hours.
But when it comes to pets, a lot of people always ask the question, like, what pets do I go for? Like, what is going to be my best option? Do I buy, 5,000 gold pets, or do I buy one really expensive one? Or
I think a bunch of the smaller pets is a lot better.
Yeah.
You hit a lot more markets, a lot more different, rather than going all in on one pet.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's better to go in.
And I also feel like something that would probably also be really good is picking. You don't have to make a profit moving things over. Like, you don't have to look for pets that will make you gold moving it over. Like, you're just trying to move gold over. The fact that it'll be maybe 10% less than what you use to get it over there. I mean, it's better than transferring a whole character.
But if you can make a profit, do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's also hard to gauge because gold just tends to be expensive on some realms, more expensive compared to other realms. So
it's hard to say.
Yeah, even if you're selling things at like a lower nominal value, you might actually be selling at a profit, depending on how the gold is on that realm.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little tip from my side as well. What I do is I mostly buy level 25 pets. And it has to do with the level 25 pet is a full ready to play pet. You don't have to level it. You don't have to get stones to get the rarity up. It's all finished done. The thing is, with 25, it stands out more on the auction house. There's a reason people can buy it more because it's already ready to use it. And you can add a little, what I do is add a 5,000 gold on top of region value. Because I see that level 25 thing as a service you pay for.
I think there's even a market for level 1s as well, just because they made it so I think the battle pets all scale down to the highest level pet you have. So if you have a team of like 3 level 1s, all the if you do like a pet battle, all the opponents' pets are going to be level 1 as well.
Really? I have no clue. About. Okay.
It's so when you queue up for a battle pet, just battle. It puts you up against the average level of your team, or it tries to, at least, to make it balanced.
Okay.
As you level them up, obviously, and you go around the world. So that there's definitely a market for the level 1s as well. But yeah, you're probably right in the fact that when it comes to cheaper pets, it's probably the level 25s that are the better sellers, at least the faster sellers.
What got my attention lately is that there's a lot of more talking about flipping on multiple servers. I see it on Reddit, I see it on the Discords, I see it in the game itself. Hikons, do you think it's now trending or something like that? Because the multi-boxing has stopped, people are now like diving more into multiple servers flipping?
Yeah, I think there's just more people that are into gold making, especially with the long boy craze that we had towards the end of BFA. And then, with the multi-boxing being pretty much dead, I mean, there's still ways to multi-box, but it's a lot harder these days. So I think a lot of people are just trying to find new ways to make gold, and being on multiple realms is one of those.
One of the bigger reasons for people doing multiple realms is the fact that finding profit in a lot of the Shadowlands things was actually really hard on a lot of realms, because people were crashing markets, they were lowering the prices all over the place, because they're really easy to access, and we had a lot of farmers, a lot more gold makers out there. So something that a lot of people have been doing is starting out on multiple realms to get cheaper materials. Using supply realms. So going on one realm, building up your gold value to a point where you can invest in a whole bunch of cheap materials, then you take them away to your main server, right? Which is an interesting market, right? It's one of those kind of gray areas when it comes to gold making.
You're also now at the moment like doing a little bit of multiple server flipping, right?
I am doing 2 different servers where I've moved things between them. Yeah.
Can you manage it so far?
I can manage it, definitely. It's there's a lot of profit in it, because you're moving materials that have completely different values in between markets. And the thing about it is, depending on how you do this, you can't. So it's. I wouldn't say that it's completely safe to do this because people have been banned before for abusing the economy. If they take, let's say, if they take a specific material and they get it for 300 gold on one server, and then they go over to another server, they post it for 150 gold, which is maybe like 80% lower than what they have it on the server already. But
you mean like when you're gonna transfer?
Yeah. So if you abuse the economy, like if you destroy markets by moving things between realms, that is something that you can get banned for.
Yeah. So it's not that you manipulating the market isn't illegal. It's allowed, but the transferring, that's a thing. Blizzard can give you a ban. I don't know. Can they give you a ban for it, or do they like?
It's a gray area because people they've gotten banned for abusing the economy before, and abusing the economy is a very broad term. Like it can mean anything, right? It's kind of the same thing with what the multi-boxing TOS used to be. But what we know from people we've seen getting banned before, if you buy a whole bunch of mounts, pets, gear, whatever it is, and you go over to another server and you crash the markets on purpose, there's probably going to be people that report you because they either think you're a bot or whatever it is. And people have gotten banned for that before. So I will say, if you decide that you want to do cross-server economies and you use a supplier realm, say you buy a whole bunch of materials, you move them over to another server to sell them for a profit, follow the server's prices, right? Follow the market values, follow the historical prices on there, because that way you are not abusing the economy. You're not killing the markets, you're not destroying the markets, and that's probably the safest way to do it.
Yeah, second of all, you're only eating out of your own profits. So
Yeah.
if you want to dig your own grave, go ahead, but it's for my words, stupid.
Yeah. I mean, one thing is you're losing out on gold and you're ruining for other people, and that's one thing. But the other part is you can actually get banned if that's something that you're abusing. So if that's something you decide to do, just be careful and follow the, I guess, kind of unspoken rules. I don't know. It's hard to say these days, honestly.
Somebody called Yissa.
Oh, Yisa, yeah,
the name
Yisa,
right?
yeah.
Yissa.
Uh-huh.
And she, I don't know, plays on 8 realms.
No, he plays on 20 realms, but with 8
sorry.
accounts.
8 accounts.
And he's trying to get to 24. And what he does is he crafts transmog. The majority of what he does is crafting transmog, and he sells it on the auction house. Now, I don't have a list of all the things that he's crafting, but currently on his 20 realms, he's posting around 40,000 auctions every day. He's been slacking a little bit. He's been saying that, but he has around 40,000 auctions to post right now.
Yeah, but he does it on multiple servers.
Yeah, he does it on 20 servers. He does it on 8 accounts.
Just like thinking of it, like setting that up. Oh my god,
it's a lot of work. Right now, it takes him around 2-3 weeks to set up a new realm completely. And obviously, this is because he buys a lot of the things. So he makes profit off of his other servers, and then he gets to a point where he has enough liquid gold to be able to start up a new server.
Hikons, you craft as well on multiple servers, right?
I do.
And how many?
Probably like 5 or 6, but I'm only focused on 2 right now for like the current Shadowlands markets, because I haven't bothered leveling on the other realms.
Is it time worth it to do something like that, do you think?
I think it definitely is if you can split up the load between multiple accounts. Especially if you have like 8 accounts, it's going to be a lot easier to do shuffles and crafting on each of your realms.
The gold per hour that he currently makes is definitely worth it in terms of efficiency. I think what he told me is currently every day he's making, what was it? I don't remember exactly what the full profit was, but he uses, I think it's 4 to 6 hours on posting every day. If he posts every day, he uses it between 4 to 6 hours, which is very high in amount of time spending on posting. I mean, that's a lot of upkeep, but I mean, I'll say you'll be able to make a lot of profit. And I think you said that last month he made 52 million in profit from it. which is, I mean, that's a lot of gold.
That is a lot of gold.
In 30 days, 52 million. I mean, it's a lot. He's going to get to a point where he's done setting all these things up, and then it's just printing gold, basically, right?
But yeah, again, it's the setup. It's something for me.
I will say, when it comes to cross-server economies, it is a lot of work, and if it's something that you are considering yourself, and it's something that you are thinking about expanding to, I will say that don't underestimate what one server can do. That's all I'll say. Like, you don't have to play on multiple servers to be able to make millions of gold. You definitely do not, because I talk from experience, right? I've been able to make I mean, at the start of the expansion, I made very close to like 1.5 million every day on one server, right? So it all depends on how much time you have, how much you know about your server. There's always gold to be made in so many different areas. So it all depends on what you want to do.
That's true. Hikons, as in tools and resources for flipping on multiple servers, do you miss anything in it? Because there's no add-on for players like us. Would you like to see something like that? And if so, what?
Are you talking about like moving items from one server to the other, or are you talking more like flipping on one?
Well, there is like the Magpie website. I use it, but it has its limitations. But I mean, like, let's say you want to compare your servers, like how much I'm making on this one, how much I'm making on this one, how much time I'm spending on this one, how much sales I have on this one. Would you like to see something like that? Would it, for you, make it more interesting or handy?
I think, doesn't TSM Ledger handle most of that? You can look at specifics of each realm.
Yeah, you can do it by manually clicking every server and like checking out the price and writing it down. It's not that you can like click a button and you have like all the servers next to each other telling you all the info you want, because that's sadly not possible yet in TradeScom. I did in the episode 5, I asked Gumdrops about it, if that's possible, so maybe we can see something like that.
I am very interested to see what Blizzard is going to do about it, because one of the things that is happening right now is we're obviously seeing people crashing markets all over the place. And I like right now, moving in between servers is like, you can do it, but
no, I'm not talking about moving. I'm talking about comparing.
Yeah. But I was that's why I was saying I'm interested to see what Blizzard thinks of it.
Oh, you mean like transferring? Yeah,
because they made a change on multi-boxing, right?
It's a thing I don't do. I've never transferred in my life. Well, basically because I just started in September with multiple servers.
Uh-huh.
But I would never do that, something like that. What I do is like doing the pets, because Blizzard make it that way that you can account bound it. But I would not do. Okay, let's say you picked the wrong server for it, and then you have all the items and it's not selling. There's no market for it because it's already being like monopolized by somebody else. Then you're screwed, right?
Yeah, you just take your whole stack and you move it away. It's
don't you have to pay for it again?
Well, of course, but when you're moving very, very, very big stacks of either gear or materials or whatever it is, you make pre-calculate how much profit you're potentially going to make, and you make sure that you're making more than what the cost of moving is.
Yeah, I think most people are just moving a few mil at least.
Yeah.
So that way they could cover their expenses.
Yep. Like a lot. Yeah. And you can't move more than 1 million per character unless you do a guild. Then you can take.
Yeah, I think it's like $15 more. It's probably worth it if you're going to move over 10 million to a certain server.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So,
do you think what Sensible just said, Hikons, about Blizzard taking steps against it, like with multi-boxing third-party software? Do you think it could happen that Blizzard's gonna say like, okay, server transfer is perfect, but you cannot move anymore like this? Or
hard to say. They already have the limitations on the amount of gold that you can transfer, and like transferring a different realm and moving items back has been a thing for, a couple of expansions now. They haven't really done anything about it.
That's the same thing that was with multi-boxing, you know? I feel like all it takes is enough people to complain about it, and then, and then they're going to change it.
Oh my god, you're starting a revolution now, Sensible.
If it's something that you consider doing, or you see somebody doing, or you see somebody talk about it, just think about it and be smart about it. Don't recklessly go out of your way to, like, I see a lot of people being very petty on the auction house right now, like destroying markets for each other.
The war.
Yeah,
PvP's out.
PvP.
PvP's out.
Yeah.
It's now gold making wars.
Yeah,
so
PvP, auction house PvP. BlizzCon is just around the corner. The next week's episode is in the middle of BlizzCon, actually. So we've obviously got the schedule now, and I wanted to talk about what each of us are excited about coming for BlizzCon. And me specifically, I am very, very excited to hear. I mean, obviously about WoW, right? We're getting news about a new patch. We're getting news about whoever knows what. I mean, they have panels about what's next, deep dives, and then we're also going to see the tree mount. Do you guys remember the mount?
Wait, what?
The mount that we voted for?
Oh, the ancient
Yeah,
one.
the ancient tree. And apparently, it's been rumored that it changes with the seasons. So there's going to be like a winter, and then fall, and then summer, and then spring. So it changes.
It changes, same like with the pet.
Yeah, in a way. So when it's summertime, it's going to be a nice, luscious green tree. But when it's fall time, it's going to have, the orange, the yellows, the reds, so the leaves. And then when it's winter time, it might, be a snow tree. But
How does that work if you're in like a different hemisphere?
I have no idea. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's also only a rumor, so I have no idea. But maybe it's
So
like a theme.
Okay. What do you guys like hyped about? What you want to look at?
I mean, I'm personally very excited for Diablo news.
Really?
Same. I'm looking forward to Diablo 4.
Very excited. I really hope they're going to talk about it.
You guys talking about the mobile version, of course.
Yeah, sadly. I'm very excited to hear potentially something about Diablo 4. And then also Overwatch 2. I'm just excited that we get to have a BlizzCon online. And we don't even, I mean, it's amazing.
For me, the same. I'm curious about Overwatch. I do like to play FPS games. I'm hoping a little bit they're gonna announce like the pre-patch sales. So watch out maybe for that, because it should be out this year, right? Overwatch 2?
I don't know actually when it's supposed to be out, but it's very important to look at all these announcements. If you're somebody that's making gold in WoW, this like BlizzCon will make the WoW token go absolutely wild. So if I would say if you need a WoW token before BlizzCon, go get it now. I mean, unless you have the time to wait until after, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see.
Something in my head tells me with Warcraft 3, the Reforged version, I think they announced the pre-sale day they announced it.
Yeah, but we can't expect anything because this is a completely different BlizzCon. It's online as well. It's in February. I have no idea.
Can happen.
I have no idea.
Hikons, you're excited about Diablo?
Yeah, like Diablo 4 should be pretty awesome. And I used to play a lot of Diablo 2 back in the day. And then I'm also excited for the new Hearthstone expansion, which I imagine they'll announce at the new BlizzCon.
Did you play any Diablo 3 at all?
I play sometimes just for the season rewards, but mostly I like the Diablo 2 style more than the Diablo 3 style. So
I get that.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to Diablo 4.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they're even going to show us any, because like if we look at the schedule, it doesn't say Diablo 4 anywhere. So I'm kind of scared at the fact that they might just show us what they're working on in a mobile game and not really that much about Diablo 4. But I really hope that they're gonna talk about Diablo for sure.
What about 9.1? I mean, that's the main thing for us.
I mean, we don't know, because the only thing that they've currently put out on the PTR is 9.05. So can you imagine they don't even give us 9.1?
Wait, you mean like 9.05?
Yeah, on the PTR they put out a 9.0.5.
Yeah.
And not 9.1. And it might be a ploy. They might have swapped up the way that they name patches. We might actually get all that we want in that patch. But what I'm saying is, what if we don't, and we don't get 9.1 until like May?
I think the 9.0.5 is coming out in like March.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be like May or June for the 9.1. But I think we'll get some sort of announcement during BlizzCon.
I hope that there's something to do in 9.0.5, like some sort of thing, because I imagine that a lot of people will get very bored with the expansion if we do not get like a new zone, new raid, all that stuff before May, like in the middle of May, end of May.
I got a little bit of a new topic, talking about PTR 9.0.5. They just added in the new Evelyn Forest a house with a D&D reference in it.
Yeah.
And it's the name could reference to Volo's guild, to monsters of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons person, so I have no clue. But there is going to be a new house in Evelyn Forest, so at the Crystal Lake. Wow.
And it's just like, wow, it's so exciting. I'm so excited to get a new house in Elven Forest where I haven't been. I mean,
And maybe it's going to get a mailbox.
No, but I don't understand, like, how starved for content is that patch if that's the thing we're excited about. That's what I'm scared. I'm scared, Jack. I'm scared.
But what can we expect in 9.1? What do you think, Hikons?
Yeah, I don't know about engineering, but I think the crafting professions will still be pretty good. Assuming we get a new raid, we're probably going to get upgrades for legendary gear. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how they're going to do that.
What do you think? Like, we're going to get rank 5, rank 6?
Yeah, probably like rank 5, rank 6, rank 7 maybe.
I think they're just going to add up to 8, do 4 additional ranks.
How did it go in the back in the BFA? Did we get at the first?
No, we didn't get new materials. We didn't get new zone before 8.2.
So the chance is big we won't get it as well this time.
Well, we don't know, because the thing is, something that a lot of people are saying is the fact that the lore is different this expansion. It makes sense that we would get a new zone because of how the lore currently is running along in the expansion. We're getting to a point where we've completed the lore perspective of all the zones. There's no new stuff unless something just pops out of nowhere. And we're ready to go onwards. Do you know what I'm saying? So it makes sense if we unlock a new place or there's a new zone or whatever. It's the afterlife. They could literally just say, okay, we're gonna flip this one. We're just gonna say this whole place is now another place. It could go anywhere. We have no idea.
I think the raid will probably just be in one of the existing zones.
You think so?
If you play through the Venthyr campaign, it's like the story leading up to the current raid. So imagine they'll probably do something similar with one of the other zones.
But I thought about that, but a lot of some people were saying that we might get like a Meldraxxus raid, but I don't know. I really don't.
What are you guys hoping for, by the way? That's maybe an easier question.
I want to see new materials and I want to see a new zone. That's what I'm hoping for. But I really don't know at this point. But that's what I hope for. I want a new zone, new materials, all that stuff.
I'm literally hoping for better engineering stuff. And here's the thing: what we know how Blizzard works. Like, they make something crappy, and then the next patch, there's a big chance they're gonna make it good. What happened in BFA, in early BFA, like they already put in the mounts and all the great stuff you could do with engineering. Then after all the patches, it went like shit almost.
Usually when it comes to professions, you can see what their whole plan for the profession is, the whole expansion. You can see that very early on. And I would imagine they're just going to continue building on what they currently have for the expansion. They're probably not going to change much.
I was going to say engineering in BFA wasn't actually that bad. A lot of people actually who were into raiding had to go engineering just because of the Azure gear that you could craft with the helm slot.
I would at least see a mount There's like a pet we can already craft. There's I have no clue what the name is.
I honestly think what it seems like they're doing this expansion is they're putting a lot of the collectibles outside of professions. So they're putting them like we can see right now all the covenants, they have all the pets, they have all the transmog cosmetics, mounts, all that stuff is through your renown, it's through your covenant progression, whatever buildings you have with the covenants. It's not that heavy on the professions themselves. And I feel like honestly it's probably going to continue being like that.
What I do think and hope for is there's going to be a new kind of auto hammer. It's the only old crafted product besides the gun shoes that you can still use and is still needed. And it's like 2 expansions old already. So it would not like blow my mind if they're going to do a new kind of auto hammer or something like that.
It would blow my mind if they pay a lot of attention to professions, because it seems like it's been put on the back burner a lot this expansion. But I mean, maybe we might see some very exciting stuff for professions coming up. Something that I would really enjoy is obviously we have the base legendary items, but finding somebody like in terms of the lore perspective as well, right? We find this legendary runesmith and he's making these legendary items for us. It could be nice if we found some other people that make these legendary I don't know, mounts or pets or other gear pieces or I don't know. Maybe it's better potions, better elixirs. I mean, whatever it is, it could be cool.
That would be pretty insane. Legendary consumables.
But can you imagine it? Who knows at this point? Like think of it like this: if they made a base legendary flask that you get, right, and then you can upgrade it at the runesmith, to give specific stats, or it gives you something specific, or it pops a nice effect on you, like when you drink the potion, you turn on fire or something. I don't know.
I mean, like a consumable that never runs out.
Yeah. So you have a reusable consumable that is a legendary consumable.
Kind of like the Diablo 3 potions that you can get.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like that would be really cool, because that adds another real reason for people to pay attention to professions.
There are already items like that in Legion. There was in Warlords of Draenor and Legion, I know they had the items you could use over and over again to give you a little bit of buff. I cannot remember the name of it, but that idea would be good, and especially if you can do it as in crafting, where you can upgrade.
Yeah.
Were you talking about like the augment runes that you can reuse?
Yeah, like the augment runes. Yeah.
But make it more interactable. You know what I'm saying? So like make the crafting process exciting. That's what I'm saying, because I feel like that would bring something exciting back to professions. Because right now you're literally just you're pressing create and then that's it. I feel like base legendaries, they're nice because you make an item and then you take it over to another place and you put some other things on it to make it better for different reasons. Get a cool little cinematic, and then it adds a little bit more in the whole RPG feel.
We now are like at the end part of the show, episode 6 with Hikons. First of all, Hikons, we want to thank you for joining our show, and we would like to invite you, of course, back again in a couple of years.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Where can people find you, by the way?
Just been streaming a lot on Twitch these days, so twitch.tv/Hikons. I do also post some things on Twitter, and occasionally I'll put out a YouTube video as well, all under the same username.
Yeah, we will put the links in the YouTube description as well, so you can check it out. Don't forget, you guys can follow us now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Cast, Stitcher.
What Jack is saying is you can probably find the podcast on every single podcast platform that you can find. So
all set.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, you search up the podcast on anywhere and you should be able to find it. Yeah, it's really good.
Because of BlizzCon next week, we're not gonna record our show on Friday like we normally do, because we want to actually talk about a bit about BlizzCon. next week. So we're going to record it on Sunday and it will be posted on hopefully Monday. And then you can check out episode 7.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about BlizzCon. And what else we're going to do?
We're also going to talk about some goal-making add-ons, which is really relevant when it comes to also talking about around BlizzCon, because then people will have new ideas, newfound purpose as to what they're going to make gold on and what they're going to do in the game.
Yes. So if you have any questions about gold-making add-ons, or you have maybe already some questions about BlizzCon, comment on the YouTube video. That's a possibility. Or go to our Twitter.
The AH_podcast.
There you can comment or send us a tweet with your question, if you have a question at least. I think that's it. Any last words, Hikons?
Not that I can think of. Thanks again for having me on again.
I think you're gonna say something special.
I mean, people are in different mind spaces. I mean, I like to say I like trains, or I like turtles, I like cake, whatever it is.
I could go for some cake. That sounds pretty good.
Ooh, that's a good idea, actually. Not a bad idea.
I like upside down turtles.
That is awfully rude, Jack.
Guys, thank you for the show. See you next week, episode 7. Be there or be square. See ya!
See ya!